Here. 6 bells.
Alrighty. All the meeting to order. It's our regular meeting, Monday, July 14th, 6 p.m. Roll call, Keith Warney.
Present.
Bill Confer.
Here.
Mike Netlin. Present. Bill Hodge. Present. Billy Johnson here. Brett McBellick.
Present.
What's that? I'll stand to the podium.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll get the agenda. Everybody good with what's on there? All right.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Been approved. Public forum, we didn't have any sign-ins.
Correct.
We'll call up Dean from Carlson SB and we'll do our audit information.
All right, well, thank the mayor. Good evening, everyone. Good to be here to run through the 2024 audit. The years seem to fly by here pretty quick, so. But anyway, instead of looking at the, right now, we're just the final audit that's still in a draft form. So what we're going to look at tonight, we'll just look at selected financials. And I believe you guys were going to get a copy of the. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we have, but it's typically what we go through in the final, the final book, once that's finalized. So pretty much same thing, just a little bit easier and not fumbling around with that.
So for the final part of the audit, you don't expect anything to change. Your draft is.
Right now, we expect this to be final. Yep, we do. So, yep. Okay, if you guys wanna, we'll just start at page 1 there, the independent auditors report. And this is once we get done with the audit, doing all of our steps, all of our procedures, all of the work, we have to issue a report, an opinion, or whatever type of report. And if you look at the second paragraph, where it says, in our opinion, in this case, we are issuing what's called a unmodified opinion. And in our business, an unmodified opinion is the best opinion that we can give. And for that matter, any other auditing could not give a better opinion. And so at the end of the day, that's from an audit standpoint, that's kind of what it's all about, is getting this unmodified opinion on your financial statements. There's a paragraph, a paragraph below that too, and it talks a little bit about Greenwood. Just because of the city's relationship with Greenwood, we do include a lot of information about Greenwood in this report. And but we do not audit Greenwood. Another auditing firm does that. So we get their report, and then we incorporate a lot of that information into the city's report. So we need to make reference to to Greenwood, and that paragraph talks about that. Okay, if you guys want to turn to the next page, and these are the page numbers, page 17 on the bottom of this one. This is it's called Factors Bearing on the City's Future, and just about 90. Other than this page, the entire book is prepared by us in our work, and all of our accounting talk, with a lot of it. But this is actually, the city, this is, Brett and his team. This is really in the city's words, and talks about those items that are listed on this page. Really, those are in the city's words, and are those factors that bear on the city's future. So I always think this is probably much more interesting reading than most of the auditor reading. So
Just got a quick comment related to the input from city staff related to this page here. I know when we are evaluated by our bond rating company, do you think based on historical data as we're moving forward, and maybe this year, maybe you're gonna answer that as we go forward, but are we gonna be able to get our better bond rating based on where we're going right now?
yeah, it's a good question, and I can't speak for the bond people, what their methods are and how they determine what what their bond ratings are. And but what I can say, and I think the next page will be a good indication, the city is trending in the right direction. Over the last 3 years, I think, it's the numbers have improved significantly. And when we look at the next page and look at the general fund, that's a good indication of what has changed over the last several years. And what's happened over the last several years can only help.
Thank you.
Good question. So. Okay, well, that's a good segue into the next page. We won't look at a lot of numbers because there's a lot of numbers on this page, but we just have 2 pages, the next 2 that are financial statement related. And city has 2 type of funds. This page is what's called governmental funds. And the type of fund is listed across the top on each column, starting with the general fund. And the next page is what we call enterprise funds, and those are your water, sewer, and liquor store. And the difference between the 2 is the enterprise funds, water, sewer, liquor, should be able to function without taxpayer money. Those are more like a private business. They should be able to function on, the liquor store operations, water, sewer, versus governmental funds, which run cities and governments. Typically it's state aids, it's property taxes and those type of things. So that's I guess the biggest difference between the 2 types of funds. So getting back to page 22 here, the first column is the city's general fund. And as you can see by the activity, just the amount of the numbers and the size of those numbers, general funds really do the heavy lifting of almost all the cities that we audit, and most cities that's the case. And it's a good follow up to Derwin's question. How are things looking, and what might the bonding people be thinking and looking at? If you look at the bottom of the general fund, that bottom number is the ending fund balance, and that's basically the ending equity in the general fund. That number, that 503, there's a lot of recommended levels for cities general fund balance. And this basically the recommendation is your fund balance, that number divided by your total general fund expenditures. And if we do that here, you guys come out to about 42%. And that's, and that's that's within the recommendation. I look back at 2023. Last year, you guys were at 25%. 2 years ago, you guys were at 12%. I didn't go back to 2021, but I wonder if it wasn't just a little bit under that in 2021. It was getting close to the Mason-Dixon line. So anyway, you guys are upwards of 42, and I know one of the recommended levels is 20 to 50%. So you guys are real close.
And that would represent our unallocated fund reserve. Is that correct?
Pretty much. Yep. Your general fund for the most part is that's basically unassigned. It's basically that's really the city's, for lack of a better way to put it. It's kind of I don't want to say rainy day fund. I push it exactly because all the other funds, the debt service, the capital projects, those are specifically for capital projects and debt service. So Good question, and that's exactly what that's.
So communities of the size and composition of Monaga or unallocated fund reserve as a percentage of total expenditures. Where's that average number that you see? Is it 50% or where's the number that's most
You know, it varies. It does. I would say you guys are really close to the wheelhouse, kind of the average. Some are above it, some are below it, some are right there. I would say, I'd say most of ours are within that 50 to 50% roughly. Some can be more, and some can be less. But you guys, that's real close to what we see as an average. And we do a fair, pretty good volume. So we get a lot of comparisons, and so I would say, yeah, you guys are real close to most of what we see.
So if
So
we wanted to be at that, say, 50% average, you talk about, we're approximately $100,000 short of that goal. Approximately.
yeah, you're close. Yep.
Yeah.
And the one thing is when you do the calculation, the total expenditures is right in the middle of the page. You guys look up, it's 1.1 million, 1.205 million. The one number that usually is factored out of that is the number right above it, capital outlay. That's when you guys buy the they say buildings, equipment, that type of thing. A lot of times that number is factored out of it because you never know, that can vary a lot. So anyway, yeah, that's that would. Yeah, so anyway, if you guys want to turn to the next page, this is the proprietary funds, same type of schedule or statement, I should say. And water, sewer, and liquor are the three city enterprise funds. And if we go a lot of numbers again, we don't have time to go through all those numbers, but number that we'll look at first is it's about 2/3 of the way down the page where it says net income loss before transfers and capital contributions. That's really the bottom line for all of those funds. The water is the 59, the sewer is the 33, and then liquor is the 136. And the brackets on the water and the sewer, those are negatives, but the reason, and this is very common in our city audits, is if we go up a little bit to the operating expense group, that's just about 1/3 of the way down the page. Depreciation, if you guys look at that number, if you look at the expenses, that's a big number. And that's for those big projects that you guys put into service and the equipment you buy. That's depreciated over time. It's not a cash outlay in the current period. So for cash flow purposes, you guys add that back. So if you look at the bottom line and you add back those numbers, the cash flow, it's much, it's a big number to add back to your cash flow. So, but again, that's very common in our city audits. So, and the third column would be the liquor store. And as you can see, there's a nice, the bottom line there is positive. And if you go down from that, from that 136, and you can see that some was transferred out to other funds. That's kind of how it's set up to work. If the liquor fund can help the other funds out, that helps the whole process. So anyway,
Excuse me, I got one question for you related to the net investment earnings. So you got the water, sewer, and the liquor store all broke out as different numbers. So when you do your audit and you ask for that data or information to come from our people, is it readily available and everything's right there? They said, here, this is what we made, this is what we made, this is what we made, those three different enterprising funds? Or how do you come up with those numbers?
right off the top of my head, I didn't didn't look in that part of the audit when I was getting ready for the meeting, but typically, usually I believe you guys do have an Excel spreadsheet that tracks basically what it's based on is your ending cash balance for each fund, basically by month. So whatever, whatever those, cash balances are each month, that's where the interest is allocated, based on those balances. So, that's the process. It's based on, the ongoing cash balance. And, but I would have to, right off the top of my head, I believe, I'm quite certain you guys do that spreadsheet. I didn't work on it myself. We have different people.
I know, we're not trying to put you on the spot, but it seems a little bit light based on the total net position of the $2.7 million. If that money was invested, I'm not saying it's all invested in whatever it's invested in, but only to gain $43,000 with that kind of money in investments, it seems a little late, doesn't it?
Well, you'd have it on that statement, the page before. You guys would also have the interest on the governmental funds, and that first grouping toward the top, it's also net investment earnings. That would be part of it too. So that interest is allocated to all of those funds, based on the allocation. So it'd be that number, the 41 total far right of those, plus that amount on page 25.
Plus the 9286.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. Yep. So. Okay, if you guys want to turn to the next page, this is page 45 on the bottom. Just looking at just the bottom half of this one. This just shows all the obligations, outstanding, bonds and notes payable at the end of December 31st, 2024. That's the very far right column. And it just shows a lot of information, the date that the bonds were issued on the left, the original amount of those bonds, the maturity date, and then the interest rates. And then again, that last column is the balance at the end of 2020. And, the biggest portion of it is, the nursing home portion, which again, that's Sonnet unit. And most of those long-term loans are getting real close to being, a lot of those are getting close to being paid off. So yeah, it just looks good as, as far as, where the city's at the end of 2024. So. Okay, if you guys want to jump to the next page, this is page 102. When you guys do get your reports, you got a lot of reading. Page 102 here. So yeah, it's a large report. But anyway, this as part of our audit, we look at the city's internal controls. And the first one here is preparation of financial statements and related footnotes. We prepare the financial statements and the footnotes. And if we do that, we have to have controls in place to make sure we're not taking responsibility for the city's financial statements. So what we do is kind of where you guys are right in the middle of it, this draft copy of the report, the city is reviewing, and once the city approves it, then we get a representation letter back, and then you guys have accepted responsibility. We have to, if we prepare the statements, we have to include that as a finding. So, and in our business, I would say 95% of our audits, it's a similar finding, similar type of findings. So very common. So, okay, if you guys want to turn to page 103, that's the backside of that page we were just on. This one is segregation of duties. Ideally, every transaction of the city, should have two sets of notes on them. And, with all those, just it's difficult with, you guys do have multiple people, but to have separate eyes on every single transaction, that sometimes gets difficult, and it's really a cost benefit cost benefit issue. If you guys were to have all those segregations, usually the cost benefit is not very good. So, so we have to include that as a finding, and it's the measurement, the measurement against ideal segregation of duties where places do have that. But in our world, again, it's probably a 95% finding clip. It's just,
Awesome.
yep, very, very common. So, the city actually has quite good internal controls. Just what you guys are doing tonight. You're reviewing reports, you're approving them, you're asking questions, you're doing all those things. Those are all really good at. So, okay, you guys want to turn to the next page? This one's 104. This about halfway down this page is the third internal control item, and this is audit adjustments. As part of our audit, we have to make certain adjustments that are large, mainly related to some of the financial statements that are included in the report. And if those adjustments are material, as I guess is our term, we have to include that as a finding. And same thing, it's just a very common finding when we prepare those financial statements. Oftentimes, we make those adjustments, whereas the city does not make those adjustments. So,
Just off the top of your head, how many adjustments do you think you made?
yeah, it's a good question. Right off the top of my head,
I know typically it seemed like it was in the 20 to 40 range, somewhere in there.
yeah, I would say I didn't look at the number, but I think that's in the ballpark, Drew. And they're attached. Yeah, we should have them in. Here it is. Yep. And it's in that range. It's 20, 25. Yeah, that adjustments.
So it's in that lower kind of. where it
Yep,
goes.
exactly. Yep, and that's a pretty common stuff to have. That for your size city, that those number of adjustments. So, okay, you guys want to turn to the next page. This is communication to those charged with governance. We are required to issue this letter. All of our, it's not just governmental, it's private, it's nonprofit, all of the audits. So, so if you guys want, the first page is just kind of a segue into the next page, where the top page, or it's the next page, the top item is these are the items that we have to report on. The first one is difficulties encountered in performing the audit. We did not have any difficulties in performing the audit. We are required to report that. If we did, we'd have to report that as well. The next item is corrected and uncorrected misstatements. We kind of already talked about adjustments, those 25 adjustments. We give those to the city. The city will post those adjustments to your records. So at the end of the process, the city records agree with the final audit. Very important step. And in that, we're right in the ending process of having that done. So, okay, the next item is disagreements with management. Again, we did not have any disagreements with management. We are required to report that. The next item is management representations. We already talked about that as well. That's when you guys review that. Management reviews the draft report that you're looking at there. And after that's reviewed and approved, that will be dated. That date, will be the, the date of the audit. So, last item here, it's management consultations with other independent accountants. If the city were in debt, whatever it might be, pensions, and they might say it's being handled in this report as well. So, with that, that kind of is a run through everything that I have here. So just a note, again, the audit went well, and Brett Kelly and the team were very helpful, and got it. And, yeah, so with that, if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to.
Nice to hear that we're in a better position than we were last year.
Yeah, no, it's good to see that fund balance.
Coming on.
Yeah, I think to that point, Jody, that based on 4 or 5 years ago, this council's been pretty proactive. And with the management team in place right now, I think it's reflecting that we're still pushing in that direction to get to. Maybe we need to be to 50% instead of 42 as far as the unallocated were based on expense, but. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty good audit.
I think we're gonna get there.
I think we'll be there by the next audit. If things continue the way they've had the last 2 years, we'll be above it.
That's why you guys are trending. It seems like, that's probably the way it's trending. So, yep.
All good. Thank you, Dean.
Well,
Thanks,
good.
Ryan.
Well, thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys. Appreciate it. And, yeah, you bet. Looking at that, monitor up there and it's a big shine.
We're all about it.
You all said we need some purple wax.
All right, thanks. I'm gonna sign it, get it sent on this way.
Well, yeah, they have presented all these storm draft for, once we get that final, then we'll send them off.
Okay.
All your next meeting when that's final. Please have them done. All right, then we have the consent agenda. Meeting map from the 9 June and 30 June work session.
I have some notes from, council member Tom Perry for today. These corrections have already been made. I'm just gonna read them out. The June 9 minutes, page 7 and 8, it should read John's Electric and not John's Electric.
It's just a spelling, right?
Yes. And then, the motion was copied twice. I changed that, so it's Greener Tomorrow's. On the June 30th minutes, page 8, the bottom. The phrase is personnel committee, that was changed to personal representatives. And then, the dates were also changed at the bottom as well. I changed G on page 6, I have Greenwood, and then N, it should be Greenwood Connections. That has been changed as well.
On the minutes, are all of the minutes current in the minute book in the clerk's office?
I think we got May done. Yes.
Just a quick question. I'm sure you guys do. Do you do one final read before you actually put your signatures on it?
And it goes on the fancy paper.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, you make one more read and you say this is good. Okay, just double check.
And the same on the resolutions to sign them. So take the motion to approve the consent agenda then?
So
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Both votes aye. Consent agenda. On public hearings. Didn't have any commission minutes, we didn't do a planning and zoning, we didn't have anything to do, so. So on the new business.
I have a resolution accepting donations. This is resolution 2025-17, whereas the city of Monaga gratefully acknowledges the following donations for the support of the Sounds of Spirit Lake event: $500 from West Central, $100 from Active Acupuncture LLC. Whereas the city of Monaga gratefully acknowledges the following donation for the support of the PLM Lake Weed Control: $542.36 from VFW Post 6206. Whereas these contributions help support community engagement and recreational opportunities in Monaga. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Monaga, Minnesota, that the donations described above are hereby accepted with sincere appreciation. Adopted by the City Council of the City of Monaga, Minnesota, this day, the 14th day of July, 2025.
wait, I got one correction here. Is the VFW, should that have been the Spirit Lake Association? 542.36, because I think, was our donation 532.36 or 542.36?
Yes, yes. The VFW donated 750 to the city, to the city's portion of paying that.
and,
It's reimbursed back to SLA, 200 and something, or to the VFW, 200 and something.
So you're not gonna recognize what we donated to the city as far as a Spirit Lake Association? Cause I know he dropped a check off to you.
yes,
Colvin did.
I just,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Spirit Lake Association, if they gave a check to the city, we'd need to have a resolution.
And not to say we have to do it now, but it should be recognized at some point.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, no, you're
I
right.
can know that for next meeting.
Yes, yes.
So the VFW and the SLA donated the same amount based on what the need was to cover that expense and share.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, the actual cost came in less than it was
Right.
anticipated. Move to approve the resolution.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Resolution approved.
We already kind of touched on it, but,
Is
just,
there anything in the packet on that?
no, I just,
Verbal, just a verbal?
just a verbal. I didn't have any documents to hand
Okay,
out.
that's fine.
That's all. And, as we kind of spoke to earlier, tomorrow at 8 AM, the portal goes live and it lists everything that we are, lists all the opportunities for the city, and it also includes the eligibility. So it's going to tell us these funds can be used for these examples. So it's going to be pretty easy to use. The city has right now 3 different entities attached to it, and there's a possible 4th as well, which I'll state in a second. But there's the city portion, which covers city administration and public works together. And then you have police, fire, and also EMS. And I don't know if our EMS folks are aware of this. I plan on attending their next meeting and just letting them know that
Something else.
this is an opportunity for them. And, you know, if they want some city support and kind of facilitating that, I'd be more than happy to. I've been to a couple of their meetings, and I know that for them, you know, funding is always very tight. So I think this would be a great opportunity for them to get some stuff done.
Now with this portal, we're not actually having to do grant writing then, we're just applying right online for these different things.
Well, so there still is some language that needs to be included in there, and they gave us a quick demo of how it's done, and they pulled up ChatGPT and then copy and pasted it in, and they said, this is what we're looking for. Next block of instruction. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it'd be cool if they could bring them up to talk to the full council.
so that will be happening, and my goal is to have it by the August meeting. And again, I'm gonna have a lunch with the person assigned to Wadena County and our area. So I'm gonna make sure that that's reinforced. I did have a verbal with them and said, hey, I'd love them out to a council meeting. I didn't get any firm yes or no's, but I think they were really focused on just their presentation. And again, they just didn't have all the information to give us at the time. So I think it'll be a lot more amenable once they have all the info to bring here to the city.
They've always been real responsive when we've requested stuff from them, so.
Absolutely.
I heard they're being quite successful, so a lot of that revenues, the net revenues, they have to distribute back into the region. And is it a 5-county region or 7-county region?
5.
It's a 5-county region.
They did change a little bit of how the funding works. Last year, it was and this is just one example. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but this one stuck. They used to have a $50,000 and a 25% match. That was lowered to $40,000 and still a 25% match. And the reason they did that is a big majority of their requests were all right at about that $40,000 range. And because they lowered it, it's more opportunities for other cities to apply. So.
I think you should have each department go through kind of a wish list, create a wish list, and then when it comes live, we can,
Once
apply
we see
for it.
what's available for each,
Yeah.
then they can start looking at what would be good to get hold of them.
Like for the roof, Right, what's the dollar cap that you'd be able to get?
Realistically, upfront, 50,000.
That's kind of their cap for that kind of project.
It is. And if we use the 40,000 and 25% match, for example, they would cover up to $40,000 of it, and we would have to contribute the rest. Well, don't quote me completely on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. If the price is a little higher, they will only cover up to that amount,
Okay.
and then
Our last estimate was like 70. Once we have our budget set, we can get firm on that too, and actually sign a contract if we want. It works.
the way this all works is, for the $50,000 grant and then the 40,000 in match, those are due by September 21st, I want to say. And then they will, pull them out of the hat, so to speak. And then, let us know hopefully by November if we were picked up for it or not. So there's going to be a little bit of lag time between when we hit send on it. So any projects that we're looking at, we should definitely plan for spring of 26 or late.
Do they have a window where you have to do your project within this period of time to get the money?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No.
They just need the data, as much data as you can provide reasonably upfront, and that's what they're gonna cover.
And then at the same time as the roof, we looked at how much insulation is in here. In between the two, this portion and the fire hall,
I've now, no.
because I think we should look at some, because it's probably never been insulated since they built the building, and with all the water or the ice dams, you're losing heat
Ron,
through there,
This
so
part was foamed,
the,
Spray foam.
spray foamed in this area up to the fire department.
Okay.
So this front part's already been spray foamed.
Okay.
The back part, that would have to.
or the firehouse.
Was it foam?
Was it last-
Over?
2 years ago.
Yeah. Now, once you say that, I do remember it. Yeah, I completely forgot about that, but yeah, we should look at. If we're gonna do an improvement here, it probably won't hurt to,
Well, part of that was we get early words and put the ridge vent in.
yeah,
Will improve that should get rid of our ice dams. We got proper ventilation. That should take care of that. And as they peel the roof back, if they've done damage, they're gonna replace.
Yeah. the sheeting, but
Hopefully there isn't one.
yeah, but it's a thought for especially bigger built with the bigger port, if they have
Do
to
you
cut big
recall
holes.
what the last bid was to re-roof?
It was just under 70, like 68, and that was just an estimate. And that was 7 months ago.
Okay.
We had. Yeah, so there was two times I've asked for it to be estimated, and they were very close both times. So we're in a pretty good
And
position.
that was stripping off the old shingles and putting on new.
Yeah, and changing the
So,
ridge.
yeah.
And of course, anything that's found, if there's damage to the sheeting, that'll be exited first, but we don't know that until they start dealing. And the good companies, the way they do them now is they don't just do that one row of ice, not ice dam either. They do two. They go up 6 feet, so that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Things have changed a bit.
Well, Keith's point, maybe get somebody up there and get the R factor, what we have in that, attic. So what do they recommend, like R50 from Minnesota now?
At least 44 is minimum. So I would say you'd want to get at least 50. Then if we can get those door seals replaced, it'd be a big thing too on the garage doors.
I mean, it's just a thought. I mean, it's when this building was built in early 90s, and I think late 80s, early
Our company
90s.
did the dirt work on this building.
What's that?
Our company dug the footings,
Oh,
the grading and everything and hooked
Yeah.
up the water. It's a long time ago.
Been a minute.
but either way, I mean, it's been a number of years since anything's been done, other than this portion of it getting the spray foam. So
All right, so that's moving us into the liquor store expansion bids.
Okay, council, I did hand you out a couple of last minute bids to consider. These just came in late and you got them when I got them. We have 3 for concrete and then you'll have 3 for, building construction.
I did talk to everybody at Rock Solid I talked to personally and gave them some information. There was some things missed on specs where Rock Solid gave it a bit apparently. We have a couple of obvious low bidders. We didn't get anything on the electrical. It's very minor. It's minor electrical that we're doing over there. I talked to Sean, but he didn't put in the bid. You got Sean or what Bergstrom, that's that we use on a regular basis, so. No issue.
Are you comfortable with these low bidders, Jody, as far as?
Yes.
Well, I'll make a motion to, we can have more discussion, I know, but I'll make a motion to accept the concrete bid from Schmidt's Concrete for $4,224. And then on the carpentry side of it, construction of the building, we got Hadia Contracting at $27,298.60.
Second it.
I know you were talking timelines and you were gonna try to have some oversight for the city, but you had mentioned about 6 weeks possibly, weather
Yeah.
permitting.
As soon as we award the concrete, I would say by the end of next week, or possibly depending on weather, but for sure by the end of next week, we have concrete in, have the opening cut, and then they can start building.
Gotcha does not include excavating
Or Tyler?
for,
Yeah.
Hajala.
Yeah, there won't be any, the concrete guys will do the excavating for the slab.
Oh, sure.
They do now.
Sure.
Yeah, they don't have any, there's nothing that they have to do other than put up the building.
The only other thing I just noticed too, the building permit, the city will pull their own permit on that.
Yeah.
We're approved.
So when we look at these 3, do we compare, do we just always look at the bottom line, or do we compare what you're getting for the money? Or is it
A little of both, but if you go by what the specs were that we put out,
right?
both of these low bidders have the specs covered.
See,
I did notice the only one that actually said in their estimate was rock solid with the dirt work and leveling compacting. Those were the only one that added it in.
Right, because there won't be, like I said, the concrete guy will do their excavating.
Yeah, no, but for the they put it in for the bid for the concrete as well. So they're the only ones who actually added that in. Yeah.
No.
So
Tyler will
hopefully they realize that they have to do the dirt work themselves. Yeah. And don't come put in like, oh, we missed that,
No,
no.
Tyler's well aware.
So is the cement guy gonna come back and re-level the dirt and rough it in around the building?
Just for that portion,
For the addition
for
to
what they dig down, and then if there's a little bit of fill around the edge, or it shouldn't be. I mean, if it's gonna be the same,
It's a pretty small
it's
slab.
gonna be the same level as what we have there now. And you want your concrete edge sticking up, so then it doesn't really drop off there hardly at all.
So they're gonna put slab on grade, come back and
But
repurpose the
they're
dirt.
gonna excavate out the sod, the dirt, and get down, haul in their gravel for the base, pack that, and then pour their cement. So you're gonna have a pile of material.
They'll take their stuff away. They won't.
And that's why I was asking if their bid includes roughing, or at least rough spreading around the building again.
I'll make sure.
Uh,
Tell them otherwise I won't haul them concrete.
yeah, that's interesting that Keith pointed out, because if that was all inclusive, maybe would have been more in under that. Add that on, to bumps it up to that, all of a sudden it's kind of not part of the equation.
Right. I know, I work with most of these guys a lot. they do the whole thing. Start to finish, warm it up and finish it off.
Yeah, that was the only thing I noticed. They were the only ones. So that's why I wanted to point out that hopefully they didn't miss it in their bid and then come back and be like, hey, you know. So.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. Any more conversation? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Those same sign. Ward contact.
You're gonna need a couple of these, won't you? One for the concrete, one for the,
If you look at the motion, I included it both on there.
because it's two different terms.
Both on the.
Yeah, it's just right. I just have it under space so I can write it in.
Motion part. That's why you stated both, audio construction and.
Oh, I see, I for construction and for concrete.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, that brings us up to the police department report. He's not here tonight, but turned in her report. From what I did talk to her about Midsummer, they had nothing major. They had one event on Friday night that was just a typical Midsummer thing.
And the stop sign on 877.
That guy sat down in front of your house.
I know.
To wait for the parade and then. Like, just like that.
We're still waiting for MnDOT to come. No, Kenny Phillips and his son went right back, putting the bolts through the, it's all it is, it's bolted onto a base, so it broke the bolts and
Oh, okay.
it's a kind of a breakaway feature. And so they just put 4 new bolts in there, 2 new bolts and,
I love it.
yeah.
That civil suit on 10th Street settled on a plea deal.
Yep, we're waiting on.
Wait to hear what the plea is.
Kind of waiting to see what they can, how it ends up, but at least they finally made it through court after. I think months and months.
Years?
Years, yeah.
It's been a while.
And
I am working on it.
I was even dealing with it when I was stopping here, so,
It's been a while.
yeah. But it just grew, problem just kept growing and growing.
What about you?
Yeah,
Is it on the corner?
yeah, down
Yeah.
block south and block east.
Look, Campground Beach Building Maintenance Department report.
Brian doesn't have anything, but I did get a request to have an update from the lifeguard swimming instructors. I'll just read it out loud. This is from our swimming instructor, Piper McFarland. Good afternoon. We're approaching the end of the second week of swim lessons. As of now, we have 7 children enrolled with the potential for 4 more to join next week, which is this week. If those additional spots are filled, we'll have a total of 11 participants, leaving 9 openings. Should demand continue, I'm prepared to open an additional class beginning at 1 p.m. First 2 weeks of lessons have gone very smoothly. The only adjustment was made was reducing the class length from 60 minutes to 40 minutes based on pacing and attention span. All parents were notified in advance and no concerns were expressed. On the lifeguarding front, Joe's been doing an excellent job, especially during lessons. He's been instrumental in assisting with materials and directing parents to our online registration form. And
You know, did the school get the electronic notice sent out to parents? Are you aware?
I've had great communication with Jay for 2 days and then nothing. So
No vacation with you?
maybe.
He was involved heavily with summer stuff.
Okay. Well, we went through the template to send out, so he has it.
Hopefully they'll get more kids, the more the better. That's great. Was she pleased with the turnout for the first year?
I don't think,
Or was she kind of disappointed with the number of kids?
no, truthfully didn't know what to expect.
Been so long since we had them and something to. Gotta get that,
Decades,
just gotta get that word out. If the school does that, mass email, that would probably make a big difference.
Hopefully they come back next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say if we can offer it again next year.
Well, like you would say, it'd be great if we could have 4 lifeguards and it'd be fabulous.
Yeah, it depends on,
Then we'd have
We can get out.
coverage 7 days a week.
how we have that. All right, that brings us into the liquor store department report. Heather's absolutely wiped out, so she's not here tonight. They work crazy amount of hours over midsummer. Bottom line is really good. So doing very well.
So year to date is 66,254. That's an accurate number.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have great mints on, I know that. I have her figures, we'll get them next month, but she said it was much better than last year, so. On the right trend. All right, Ron, that brings up Public Works.
Chris, talking the one part.
Sure.
Yes, man, those.
Only if you have good things to say, Chris.
I'll try.
Three of those that way.
That way, I need one.
I got one.
All right. And of course, you gotta have that exhibit map too, so.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
I'm learning that it's a new project,
You starting how you going?
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go then. So probably look at the memo first, in regards to the Spring Lake Stormwater Pond and the trail that's been in place for, let's say close to 15-ish years. Does that sound about right?
And the
Maybe the trail came later, but.
trail in later. That was the first.
So currently, the stormwater flow is entering and exiting the pond in an acceptable process, as the pond was meant to. And number 2, you've got now saturated soils from your rain event underneath that trail. Lake action right next to it, you're gonna have some movement as far as that movement's concerned. That's what we're seeing.
Plus tree roots.
Plus tree roots, yep. Pushing it around too. So not the best place to put a trail. Looks great on paper, but we are needing to repair it and or replace it.
I know it had been mentioned a boardwalk maybe would be a solution.
That could be. There's more cost involved in that than
But then you're not subject to ground movement so much. And
not so much. I don't know if the ice ever pushes it that far, if that would affect anything in that realm. I don't know what you've seen out there, Russ.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it could, be a removable one.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I know that had been thrown out as an idea before.
Sure. Yeah.
Your recommendation is basically to get rid of the walking trail and just put turf on it.
Right. Instead of looking at something that's in place and saying, okay, how can we replace it? Well, we have another plan coming up. And that plan is what's on the map here.
Whole sidewalk.
Yeah, a new sidewalk along with the street, of course, connecting those 2 areas between the boat launch and fishing pier over to City Beach. Taking out this trail, that'd be my recommendation to the council moving forward with what you have planned for the street improvement project coming up. So to utilize that street improvement project to make that connectivity between those areas down at the City Beach.
I wonder if people would, you talk about putting in sod, taking out cement, putting in sod. I wonder if people would continue to walk that area and make a walking path on the sod.
They may, but if it goes natural and we let it grow up with vegetation, I would highly doubt it, maybe. And we can try to, maybe deter them from using it, if anything.
Put some riprap on either end, they won't wanna walk over that.
That's right, and then, the other option is, along with taking out trails, take out the little walk bridge, the footbridge.
Hmm.
Along with that, you don't want to leave that for any purpose, so, and then at that bridge, your riprap dives down, that's your outlet to the lake, so. I don't think people would walk along there, because.
Wasn't that originally designed though for handicap accessibility and ease of access from the boat landing back to the beach, back and forth?
About that,
I think it might have done, but there's no, I mean, they have to go through the sand to get to the paved part of the trail now. At this point.
So this trail here dead ends and then,
Dead ends right here at the.
so there, a wheelchair is no way it can make it back up. to the
Right,
beach.
they can't get through the sand. And now with this new sidewalk, they would be able to go all the way over, and then we have that zigzag handicap ramp down to the fishing pier. So we'd still be handicap accessible, we'd be better handicap accessible than we are now. If we get this sidewalk.
It's my understanding too, is when the DNR and the city signed off on this project, they gave full authority to the DNR then to authorize any work projects. Has that been looked into?
into what projects?
The DNR has full authority as far as managing the shoreline. The city just can't say, I'm gonna go in and do what I wanna do.
Correct.
They have to work with the DNR. Are you aware of that?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
just a question.
Yeah, any planning we would move forward with, whether it's going in and removing the pavement, we work with the DNR and say, this is our plan to remove pavement, still keep the stormwater pond in place, but then just grow vegetation, maybe add some riprap here and there if we deem fit. That's,
You just had that blowout through there,
yes,
so we patched up. You think we need some liner along that side of that thing or something?
I think we need to dissipate the energy coming out at the end of that pipe.
So how would we do that? How are you gonna diffuse that energy?
That's right. Currently with that storm pipe, let's go from the lake first. It's got a pretty steep drop coming down to that lake elevation from the roadway up above. It's all underground, but it's still a steam
Mhm.
pipe. And that pipe also leads over to a grit chamber down by the highway intersection. The thought is, leave that grit chamber in place. We're gonna be working with MnDOT as far as improvements if needed on that grit chamber or if it can stay. Along with that grit chamber, have a second line of defense as far as removing silt from the storm line. The grit chamber is great. We installed that close to 30 years ago. 96, I believe we did. New technology is what we've been looking at as far as stormwater treatment control. One thing we're using with the city of Walker and where they have stormwater discharge to Leech Lake, working with them to install what's called a preserver, stormwater preserver. And as the water enters into it, it helps dissipate that energy of the flow, drop out the sediment. Then there's also a skimmer on the exit line that exits that manhole structure. So now you're collecting that sediment within the structure that can be sucked out, whether it's annually, twice a year, 3 times a year.
But it's twice.
Yep. That's something, you monitor at first and then determine, how often you'd have to clean out the structure itself.
That would take some pressure off the pond, actually.
Yep, that would
You'll
help,
be collecting so much silt and building it up.
definitely. Yep. So, that's a twofold treatment. You got your grit chamber up front, the older technology, and then using the skimmer technology to really knock out any more sediment that's coming down the line.
With this project, that would just be dug in that slope, I would imagine.
That's right. Right. We're gonna look at trying to lessen the slope on that pipe, and decrease that energy coming into that pond, so it's not blowing straight through.
So we wouldn't need any kind of liner then.
No,
You know, just maybe a little more rip wrap in that hole or something.
that'd be the one thing to look at. Kind of hard to tell what's all in there now with vegetation, but you know, once we get in there, and clean it out, assess it, need more riprap.
was gonna say, cause it's been 4, 5 years since it's been reworked, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Well, Jeff Shingle,
Yeah.
that's probably 3 years ago.
3 years.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
There's some pretty good little saplings coming up and
Yeah.
stuff. Just need some maintenance, but yeah, we'll have to look at.
Because the thought is, you know, once you remove the pavement to let this become your natural shoreline, that's the new term, you know, having the natural shoreline in place. Having no vegetation, whether it is just small trees or even larger trees start growing up in there, that's gonna hold that berm in place even more
Like on the berm itself,
on the berm itself.
let that grow.
Yep, let that grow. Work with the DNR to, you know, look at what type of vegetation to place down after the trail and pavement is removed. You know, come in with some kind of planting that stands up in that area and is pertinent for putting a shoreline, so.
Put some good roots down, have some stuff together.
Yep.
I gotta make a comment to that. We put in 2 berms, worked with the Army Corps of Engineers out of the Fergus Falls office. And they said, do not allow any trees to grow in this berm whatsoever, because the roots are gonna migrate in and that's gonna take the integrity away from the berm itself. And I'm going by what the Army Corps of Engineers told me.
So probably,
They would not, they came back and did a field inspection. It was like 3 years after, and they said the same thing, and make sure you cut these, any of this vegetation that's coming up that can root into this, do not allow that to happen.
so just,
So unless you got somebody tell you different,
So is that a berm to hold water?
Yes.
From going across the?
if the berm that holds water, there is a spillway that lets the water at a certain level to spill
We
into.
definitely don't
And
want water coming off the other side of this, in that situation, right?
it's got a spillway. Once it gets to a certain level, it'll spill. It'll never get high enough to wash over the top of it.
In this case, we have water conditions on both sides of the berm. You know, we have a storm event, we got water on one side, and of course you have the lake on the other. I guess what I'm going after is with tree roots in there, it's gonna help hold that berm in place, number one.
Isn't the riprap on the lakeside there to mitigate the washing of the water, the wave action?
It is, yeah.
So that would hold the integrity of that side, and you get maybe 7 or 8 rain events in the summer that would actually spill in there. That could raise the level up, and then it moves up, and then it drops around and goes through that walkway. I'm just saying that's what I know about berms, unless technology or information has changed.
Again,
I'll call the Army Corps of Engineers, they still have the documentation and paperwork. Just to verify that, what you're telling me is totally opposite of what I was told by an engineer from the Corps of Engineers.
what they're looking at by the Corps of Engineers is probably not having water transverse through that soil structure of the berm. You're wanting to keep the other side dry, so you don't have any sloughing. Is it mainly a dry side?
Yeah, there's a dry side and a wet side.
Yeah. So that if you did have tree roots in that situation, then you would have water that can travel through soils easier.
It defeats the purpose and
Right.
for a dry side, then.
For a dry side. Now you got water coming out where you don't want it. In our case, we have both sides are wet. Those tree roots are just gonna help hold that berm together.
Well, I'll do my research and
Yeah, I mean,
I'll let you know what I find out.
okay.
I'm not saying you're not right, you're probably right, but I
That's
was
why I-
told something totally different by another engineer.
But on dams, even like a pond dam, they don't want trees growing up because of the roots breaking down and letting water through, where here we have water, like you said, water on both sides, so.
Well, and maybe not, maybe it's not trees, maybe it's just grass, types of grasses that have the long taproots, buffalo grass and that kind of stuff,
It's a bunch of poison ivy.
That'll keep.
Talked about keeping people out.
Yeah.
Highly sensitive. What else did I state here? I don't know, does the mapping make sense too? And I should point out, in light gray is the sidewalk sidewalk network. Black, of course, is the street, yellow is your center lines. So you can see how, connectivity to the beach parking area, beach itself. You can see a little spur that goes down towards the sand coming off the sidewalk. That could be used for two things, foot traffic, number one. And then if you have to get a piece of equipment down there on, have a nice ramp to get down there. I think you guys go that way anyway, but
Yes.
that was, it's right conditions, tearing up the line and so on.
So they're down by the ramp, you're eliminating that little,
That oddball.
that
intersection.
oddball intersection.
And we're eliminating that little, where the road goes on both sides of the tree.
Yeah,
We're eliminating that too.
okay, that tree is coming out.
Both of them.
And then there's a lot more parking along the, all the way down from the boat ramp, both directions, there's
Yeah.
street parking.
What is this stuff right here? Is that more blacktop or what is that?
That's
Purple
a
or-
little pull-in for somebody that wants to launch their boat. So you got a refuge to pull in there, get your stuff ready, we start backing up down the ramp.
So the existing sidewalk that runs in front of these properties, that would just stay as it is?
Nope, we're planning on taking that out and having the main foot traffic on the lake side of the roadway.
So that entire off lake side walkway is gone.
Will that be, is there a curb then that separates the boulevard from
There'll be a curb at the edge of the roadway.
in like concrete curb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Curb, and that'll help us control the stormwater flow, treat the stormwater flow before it goes.
Yeah, cause even for that part, you were talking about having some of those underground apartments.
Yep.
To catch that before it may never get to the lake.
Yeah.
It can be a pretty heavy rain event for it to get to the lake.
Yep, along with that stormwater treatment mechanism, we're gonna look at a lot of the piping within this network to be perforated pipe set in a rock bed. Both sand soils,
Beach system.
so you're dissipating a lot of the flow right into the ground. That's filtering it before it even gets to the lake too. So you,
Let Mother Nature do its work.
why not, right? Yeah.
Have you had any updates on where we're at and
So,
battle? for that?
yeah, the whole big deal with the funding, now we have a bonding bill, But the next question is, how does that affect the funding agency? And what is their list going to look like this September?
Also September, so.
It's usually September when we see that come in.
Well, we're on the list.
You're on the list, but you don't know if you're within the fundable range. Or if water's in the fundable range and sanitary sewer is not. That's probably your biggest question.
That's, what's last year, right? We were in the water, but not the sanitary.
Right.
Yeah, cause did you say there was, we'd have some available for that 87 to replace those old cast iron lines down there or something?
Yeah, that's become the 87 piece water main cast iron you're talking about. That's become part of this project if the city elects to move forward and that as a piece. So
The little skinny white lines, are those like a parking lane?
yep, that will be parking.
So all across the frontier
Yep.
and then wherever there is one?
That's right.
Yeah, and the only thing I had mentioned before when we saw this plan was that at the beach parking, we do want to keep that as wide as it is now. Because we have so many people with 15 passenger vans that would have a hard time getting in and out of these spots. Otherwise, we need a little bigger alley in the middle of it. So that's about the only.
Yeah, I did skinny that up as you can see.
Is that a vehicle? Like with the map on Google?
So on the lakeside here, this sidewalk curb / whatever, is the curb gonna be one of these sharp ones or is it gonna be a nice soft?
Whichever you'd like. Yeah, whichever way
so that
works best.
I agree.
Um,
This looks smaller.
If you do have a sidewalk, sometimes they have higher back curb instead of the drive over style curb. Just so people are not parking up on the side. You know what I mean?
Can you repeat that?
He asked as far as what style of concrete curb
Oh,
on the
yeah,
edge.
yeah.
So the main thing is when you do have a sidewalk sitting directly behind that curb.
Yeah.
Put a high back curb instead of this drive over style curb.
Right.
So people don't tend to park up
On the sidewalk.
I'm just talking about for different events like the fishing derby. Fireworks, these are only a couple, 2 or 3 big events that. You know, you're never gonna have enough parking for these people. They usually pull up and everybody's, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
and this year everybody was parked in facing the
lake.
lake, so.
Because it's just,
I mean,
there's
it's just,
nothing there.
you would never
It's just road and
you'd
grass.
never get enough people in there if you're having to park single file.
So if you had a drive up slope curb, you could drive up and do everything and drive back off and then take off again. Because that would eliminate that. You're only gonna get X amount of cars here, whereas now you could probably get 3 times the amount of cars.
They did mention that too, Chris earlier.
That would be the case. Have that one curb, we're gonna make sure that sidewalk was a thicker sidewalk. on
Yeah, you
it.
don't have to
Yeah,
go heavy.
go 6, 5, 6 inch.
Well, I mean,
So
I hear you, it's great. I'm just wondering, like, other places that can, so we have these 2 major events. Can we not occupy the school parking lots?
It already does drop off
That's
the
already-
lake, so you would have
Okay.
to flat. And then you're
Like,
having to
do
build
we
that
want
side up
to
too, so.
unofficially encourage people to be driving up over our brand new sidewalks?
Well, there's older people that do not leave their cars at all to
We're
watch.
already losing, yeah.
You know, you gotta take that into consideration too. Once this project's in, it's gonna be in for many, many, many years. And I think, the general public,
We are,
if you have
either way, we're
10
losing that.
people on the street, if you want a sharp curb or a drive up curb, 9 out of 10 are gonna say they want sloped up curb.
Well, you can do a drive up with a little bit, call it, water control.
Another
Right,
60.
I mean, instead of just a rooted, the ones that be a little more of a.
Yes.
How many trees was it?
You still keep our water control.
Just drops out.
Oh, yeah, so you're widening that, so where the cars park now would be
Would all be
we're pushing out.
sidewalk
sidewalk and
and
asphalt?
access parking, yeah.
The one visual to create about midpoint on that block, there's those pine trees and a bench there. Those gotta go.
Yeah.
Because of what we're adding to the street.
Wow.
The street right now is about 20 to 22 foot width. Pretty skinny.
Yeah.
And they're going to what, and they go into,
Yeah,
34 foot width.
so.
Or like, and then you add another curb, you're 34 foot, right? And then you add another 6 feet on for the sidewalk. Right now you're at 40. And the double. Yeah, it's basically double. So if you look at the edge of where that pavement sits along the lakeside now, push that out about 16, 20 feet, that's where we're gonna be at
The
the back of our
the
side.
slope there isn't gonna. That's gonna be an issue you gotta deal with.
That's one thing I've been looking at with the design is we're staying away from that slope before it starts going down.
Pushing back the other way.
Right, so we're maximizing what we can put in here for a street sidewalk without, getting into pushing fill down towards the lake to,
Is that another reason?
Pushing back onto the yards.
or pushing back on the yard.
It's another reason why potentially the current sidewalk, which is on the housing side, will be absorbed by road
Somewhat.
so that you have room on the other side for parking and sidewalk? Yeah, or no?
Some maybe a couple feet closer than it is, that edge of road is now.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep some of the trees. I promise we can keep all of those boulevard trees in there. But, that's one thing we're looking at with that too, and just property lines and where they sit too.
Like Derwin just said that those big trees along the lake, a lot of them are dying
Yeah.
as it is.
Yeah.
Is there ways to put new trees back in after just for wind for those residents there?
Yeah.
Aesthetically too?
Yep.
I mean, I know there's gonna be a cost to it, but is there enough room between the sidewalk and the slope where we can put
Well, I think the only trees on
trees there,
that side, the only
Okay.
trees you were taking out on that side was just that little group of pines where that bench is, isn't it?
I believe mostly one or two down by the boat landing stage area, but that was about it.
Yeah, so they still have most of those oaks,
Yeah.
for the shade.
And it'll take 30 years to get them to like what they are now anyways, like.
Well, I mean, not even just oaks, I mean, just spruce tree or just a maple or something that we can, if we do have to take more of the trees down, something that will give some shade and some wind protection for those. It's a thought, we can visit it
So,
later on when it's closer to the, you know.
so on the building side, there's still some trees in there. Are those homeowners gonna lose all those trees?
It depends on where they're watering sewer service lines. The other thing is we're replacing the water sewer through there, and as the laterals branch out to the house. Even though I'm going up in the last 70+ years that the lines have been replaced. Now we gotta dig back in those same locations to bring this tight in, so.
One of these guys that will have to have their service.
Curious question,
Yeah,
because she brought up trees, they're talking about trees. So in this project, if a tree is removed, you know, there's a dollar figure on this, right? This project will cost X amount.
I think she
So,
lost a big one.
Is there anything written in the contract
Yes,
where,
that's-
you know, we
that's
have a
what I was-
remove
Yeah,
more trees off of
She's
city?
got some really nice young maples.
Yeah.
Those will be replaced by such and such, you know what I mean?
Or
Or
it's up to the council decision.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, do you normally do that in other cities?
No,
You don't put trees back, I'm just curious how it works. I have no agenda here.
we have a lot of cities that say any trees in the boulevard that we can get out of the boulevard.
Right.
It's in city right away,
Thank you.
get them out.
Yeah.
Well, they don't, they just drive sidewalks through the roofs. That's right. We got that all.
And so then your company, like, you will do the tree removal. That's all packaged into the,
Every part of the removal plan.
and if we decide as a council that we do want some, that then could be a negotiating part of the cost and part of
It,
the,
it could be part of the project itself, or the city can come in after the fact and place trees where you want.
yeah. Maybe once the dust settles, they kind of see what would be good.
Yeah, she.
Well, we have no idea when we're gonna get to this project at this point.
Yeah, this is just the preliminary aspect of talking. Let council. Yeah.
You know, when the selection process will take place.
The funding.
Yeah, for funding, you know, when that selection happens, is that,
We'll get the list from the facilities authority this fall, around that September timeline. Then we'll see where the city sits on that funding list. If you're in the fundable range, you decide to move forward, you still don't know
if you
what
got the
kind
money,
of grant or loan combination you're getting until you bid out the project. Submit those costs to the PFA, and they perform their calculations and then let you know. And a lot of it's based on city debt. You know, right now you have a lot of debt on your water side because you have a new plant, a new water tower. You don't have a whole lot of debt or any on your sewer side. I don't know if you have any right now.
No, it's all water. All the
So-
sewer was paid off with the ponds. That was the last thing that was all paid off.
So you don't have, we're probably not gonna see any grant on the sanitary sewer side of funding table. So that's where.
because we have no debt.
Because you have no debt and you're sitting with a big surplus of the bank, so.
If we work hard to that.
Yeah.
Hard for it, we can't get any funding.
Yeah, I guess that's money too. We have good budget practices and we get punished.
Catch 22.
I will say, I just wanted to make a comment, whatever it's worth, but I do like, at least right now, looking at this. I like having that sidewalk on the lakeside and away from the residents. Now, maybe they like to walk neighbor to neighbor type of thing. But if we want, you know, community, Milwaukee, nobody wants to walk next to a house and you wish you could be looking at the lake, you know, and so it's kind of nice, switch sides of the street. You can have traffic going by, I'm talking foot traffic, and they're not literally right up in your front door.
We
You know.
still have the benches next to the sidewalk though, right? So if people are walking, they can sit down.
That's one way around that.
The state stays in place. Stay here. That stays.
The bad part was it doesn't go all the way through here. So not kind of fenced up like part. So did install them speed bumps over there along the lake. But then speed bump signs up. Seems to be deterring a lot of people, slowing them down.
So we have
So
somebody involved,
we were, oh, it's helping out over there.
in light of that, with this project, will city continue to use those temporary ones? For like,
This here, we're hoping that's gonna slow, slow down, if not eliminate this aspect.
Okay.
Because
No more.
when they can go straight shot, that's when they're building up all their speed,
You have that speed bump.
you know,
I was just wondering if there was.
so that's why this way.
Yeah, and there's a follow-up. What we normally see with pavement without curb and gutter, people go faster. Drivers feel more constricted with curb and gutter, and the street is still narrow. You know, we're looking at fairly narrow streets here. They feel that constriction, they do slow down. So along with the stop condition and the curb and gutter streets, narrower streets, that should help with your traffic speed, so.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Go ahead.
On the next part, I have a Highway 87 lift station. So I got pumps that are going bad. We got that concrete cap, the lid, all that is going out, the control panel. I did get an estimate previous year for that. We were working on towards a grant. But like what was discussed earlier, we showed too much money on hand. So I did get one last year and it was around 35 to rehab that lift station.
35,000. Is that the one by my place?
35,000 to rebuild.
To rehab that.
To rehab.
Yeah,
Rehab.
that's a good price if you're getting 35.
Yeah.
They're not real big pumps, but
No,
Is that-
they're the,
Is that the pump you said by place that keeps going up?
That is a pump and a backup pump in it, basically.
yeah, two pumps,
Who is the bid from?
Minnesota pump.
So you'll have to get a new quote on that then.
That's what I'm working on, a new quote for them. I just wanted to discuss it and bring it up to his attention. So I'm waiting for, Justin to get me a new quote.
Do we have room in the budget?
We have to.
Yeah, you can't not do a lift station.
Yeah, I don't want it backing up in my basement.
Rainbow Lake.
I got a canoe I can lend you.
That I wanted to bring to attention. So, when they were doing their the pump maintenance and checks, then pumps are failing. One was getting water. In all of it. So, I mean, it's still in there. Working. For how long is the question with it bogging down with water? So the seals are failed and the impellers are all failed on it. Where
So if you
there's
can-
one good one. That one's aging too. And then there's the one that's really failed.
So we're okay if you get a quote now and we're able to approve it at next month's meeting, you'll be, as far as you know, that pump's gonna make it though.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not putting my,
It's not dead at the moment.
stamp on it, but yeah, it still should.
It's either that or if it does fail, let Brett know and he could. we
If
can
it does
call the
fail, I know where you live.
I would say, me personally, I would say if it fails, then call, let Brett know, we can
Oh, yeah,
call.
if it's an emergency.
I don't
mean,
call
it'll have to be
yeah.
good.
I think you're confident it's not gonna fail in the next couple months.
I think
We'll get some.
we have to get a quote, that's something we can have on the next agenda.
Are you gonna get two quotes?
I do have the electric pump on hand. I could get one from them.
You'll have two quotes for us then? Okay.
And midsummer swept streets beforehand. But I had that big storm. I mean, they were decent. Put all the barricades and everything out.
Got it all moved today too, right?
Yep. Swept it up a little, so.
How's that pickup working?
Trying to decide to get step sides on it. It's pretty tall for the days getting up. in it.
Out of-
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it.
But everything else we're under, Chris?
Thank you very much.
thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Liz.
You're welcome.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Nice meeting you, Bill.
Nice meeting you too.
See you, Chris.
Yeah.
All right.
I won't even ask. So.
That's the mic distance, okay?
Okay. Good evening. I missed the budget thing and I just had a question on the nursing home if I can. ask you.
Yeah, please.
So, I see that in revenues, it's 120,000 for transfer from nursing home, 120,000. I'm guessing that's the ECPN.
Correct.
probably. But in the expenses, it's 102,000 expenses.
Ooh,
Is that for budgeting?
Yeah.
close number.
Isn't that, right now, isn't our ECPM
It's,
actually 85?
Yeah. yeah, it's lower.
It's probably lower. It's about 9,000. No,
It's 8,700.
87, close to 9. And then that extra was going, or this year, that extra 30,000 or so that you're gonna have is going, because we're doing 11,000. That extra 30,000 was going to basically the payment in lieu of taxes, because you did 85,000, so that extra 30 was going. But I just was like, it's not the same, so. I mean, you have your expenses lower, the revenue higher. So if it's going to be around that 120,000, you might want to change the expenses.
Yeah,
What's that under? What's the line item for there?
So it's the 43, which line? It's expense, 101, 49, 200, 439,
439.
49, 200, 439.
4,200.
49, 200.
40,000.
So, ECPN,
Yeah,
that
And I'm
just,
not sure what it will be exactly, but you probably want to have them the same because
exactly, it should be.
you're not gonna
Good
receive
catch,
any.
Laura, good catch. Well, that's gonna change the bottom line a bit.
I think that's what Jody mentioned earlier, that so until September, if something pops up, we'll still be able to address it.
It is 120 someone too. Right.
that's money coming in.
I mean, you could put it to 102, but you need to put 102 in the revenue then. Yeah, match, because you're not gonna. I mean, this last year we did the extra, but we're not going to, you discussed not doing that 30,000 more this year. It was 55,000, not 85.
Yeah, budget.
Not 85, yeah. So our,
It was about 10,000 shortfall in the budget. And we just,
we had a,
We'll have stuff to, we'll deal with.
we had a profitable month for May. And I had mentioned to the board that I thought that June would probably be the same, and I believe it has. Their census stayed right around 59, 58, 59, 60 for the whole month, which was really good. And we're at 59 today. We've had our TCU has actually been fairly stable over the month of June and May, June, and going into the TCU, so that's been good. Short stays then, which is usually slows down in the summertime, so it's different this year. Seems like it. We did receive that finally, the employee retention credit check. So I mean, that does give us an additional $880,000.
Only took you 2 years to get
It
it.
took a long time to get, yeah. So, I mean, I had always looked at it like, okay, when we did the employee retention credit, it was during COVID. I mean, needing to give raises, it was like, okay, this is a good fallback on. We have that money that we have for raises. I mean, now we can look at it with the extra money too. I mean, we do have a little bit more that we can look at for using if we're gonna build too. It gives us a little bit more cushion, so
They actually paid you 100,000 in interest on that
yes,
because it took so.
over 100,000 in interest. Isn't that crazy? Wouldn't you think they would get it done faster? The auditors said, what did they say? 30,000 that they put in the audit for it because of interest, but they said they're seeing that, usually getting more interest back than that, but that was just a start, but it's crazy. It was crazy. It was a crazy process because I don't know how many times I called and I got a total different answer every time. And even the very last time I called, I was told that, nope, it's back at the start and they're starting all over. And I'm like, are you kidding? I hung up the phone. I called back, waited on hold again, talked to somebody, and they said, no, that check was sent out yesterday. Like you raised my blood pressure.
So when you say sent out, you physically had a check or they just wired it into your account?
No, they had sent a check out. They had already sent a
Big
check out. Yeah,
Yeah.
big,
Hold it in there.
I know. Yeah, it was a big one. It's like, so. Anyway, we don't have our hiring has been, I'm kind of slowed down a little bit, but we don't have a lot of positions open. We were just talking about that today and people wanting to work in housekeeping, laundry and nursing, and a lot of our positions are filled, which is a good problem to have. So, we talked about insurance last time, so I won't talk about that, right? Except for I probably do need to. We still haven't had
I mean, I talked to
Mike
him.
Hootery hasn't given.
No, and the underwriter hasn't got back to him. And I mean, I'm staying on top.
Yeah.
So he's either gonna tell us that he's either gonna give us a new quote just for the city, or he's gonna say, hey, it's too late. This is what it is for this year, adjust it next year. So that's the two courses of action that are coming.
Yeah, because the policy, as we found out, that we don't need both of them, but we're just asking Michael to see if he can take the.
Yeah, he understands.
Yeah.
He knows.
60th anniversary. I mean, we had a committee for planning, and we did. I don't know if you saw the bus. There was a banner on the side of the bus that said, if you saw that when that went through the parade, that said that there was a 60th anniversary, and then you do a free lunch and door prizes and tours. So hopefully, we get some people to come to that. So we're working on that. No, there's really nothing else.
Is that gonna be an evening thing?
11 to 2 on Saturday, the 16th of August. So
See. The windows,
windows, yeah.
is that the window company screw up?
That's
hopefully?
the lumber company's group, yeah.
So at least it's you get a better window for same cost.
Yeah.
So they did-
So they're double hung were ordered instead of single hung windows.
We wanted single hung, so
We
that
wanted single hung.
actually
Yep.
close the.
So they had to order clips too, and they said they can install the clips right now, and you can have the clips on hand for when the windows start to like loosen, and then put the clips in at that time.
So basically turn them into a single hung.
At, if they have a problem. Right now, they shouldn't be a problem, that they should stay up in place. But yeah, that was the thing. We didn't want
I can tell you, it really brightens up those rooms.
it does.
It's amazing that just that white vinyl instead of the wood that was around them.
Mhm.
My mom got them in her room and I was like, holy cow, it's way brighter.
Yeah, what's the difference? Yeah, yeah.
It was a huge.
It does it. They look good. So they are they're working on the front side. And they don't have a lot of windows left on the front side, and that would be 24 apartments. So then they would be the other ones left. So
Everything's gonna come on budget.
so they so when they did the quote, and I didn't go like around, I think we had different ideas at first. So like, okay, how many windows are the rooms? And then our common area rooms, we have like so I think when we started counting at the day room area and the staff room behind, and there's two double windows there, and a double window and a single window in the day room area. I think we were discussing that. Well, I really don't know if these need to be changed because they're not like we open and close them a lot. And so the discussion was, let's like see what happens and what vote, and do we need to change them? Because the windows are still good. It's mostly the open and close. They still are, we're not getting ice and frost on them and stuff. But so I did ask them because I actually then thought that they included the windows. When I went later and said, okay, you counted all windows all the way around, and that was my assumption. And they all came back with the 86. So I mean, everybody gave a quote on the same. but I did ask him to quote those windows. So right now it'll come on cost. They haven't asked for any additional cost, even though they're double hung and which are more expensive than the single hung. But they haven't said anything on any additional cost. So. I mean, I don't think they should. Yeah, yeah, no. But they did, so as far as additional, they should meet what they planned and how to put them in. I mean, they're putting them in, they look good and they're sealed and they look nice and,
That would way was seamless.
so.
Out the old ones out the new ones in talking.
Mhm. Yeah, and they look really good on the outside, and they could look good on the inside, so, I mean, they just continue to do what they're doing as they go around, and it's same. The only thing is those windows, there's three. I said 3 double hung and 1 single hung that I asked him for additional quote on to see how much those would be if we were to replace all of the windows of those ones too, so.
So you're thinking as long as you're doing it, if you got 4 more you need to do, you might as well get it done now.
And have them do it, yeah. When they're there, so that's what, we're just waiting on that additional quote, but that's it. So they actually have installed a lot of the flooring, I should say a lot of the flooring, they worked on it and they've installed by the office area, going into the activity room. We're repainting the connecting link hallway and it's about halfway painted. And they'll start on that flooring or they'll go into the activity room. The goal is to have it done by the 16th and I think they should be able to from the looks of it for the time that it took them to do the section that they did and it looks really nice. It made it, have you seen it? It made it huge night and day difference. Take away that VCT tile, white tile, very more institutional look and putting in the flooring. And we talked about, does that qualify as betterment and can we use it from that fund? And boy, you won't believe how many residents are that really like it. This is really nice, you know? So, I mean, you know, you talk about it, it has impact on them. I mean, softer, yeah, homier look.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, I can tell you just a great job for the whole facility is my granddaughter works in Detroit Lakes and Frazee. And she just started working over there. And her friend said, this is the nicest facility they've ever been. And they work as CNAs and these other ones. And like, those are crazy. This is. I love it.
Yeah, good to hear. So, I don't think if there's anything that's come up recently, but I think that's it.
For the 60th anniversary, Laura, you're gonna have like an artist sketch or an artist presentation.
Oh yeah, I should talk about that.
Addition.
That was the plan originally. That was the plan. If we decided to move forward, we were hoping to have something set up for that day. So right now where we're at with that is that I did meet with last Thursday. I met with Nathan and Todd Hagan, and we met with the auditor for the debt capacity study. And she won't have it. She's hoping to have it done, which she really has a good feeling that she will have it done by the next council meeting, which puts it really tight. If the debt to make a decision, a tentative, like, yeah, I mean, it really has to be, we've already spent the money on it. Really, all they have to do is say, yes, we believe that this is really, I don't know if you want to, anyway, to make a decision. And that would be the 13th would be the council meeting. And the 16th is the anniversary. So the auditors or architect, they have the drawing done. It's just putting something, they already have it. They can do it because they've paid them. We've already paid the fee.
$700.
Yeah.
We'll have
Yeah.
back from Ellers. Ellers was gonna talk to Standard and Poor to get kind of an indication if doing it would have a negative impact on the city's bond rating. Did Ellers get back to you on that
He
question?
didn't say anything about that. He does have he did say that there's the local bank. And I don't know if he had said that at the time of the meeting. He did to verify that.
The question, at least at our meeting we had, was the level of that for the city. And he was gonna talk, or the Ellers was gonna talk to Standard and Poor, just kind of get an indication from them how they would view that. So did he?
Yeah, I don't,
comment
no,
on
he
that?
didn't say anything on that, so I can ask him on that. I forgot about that, so. But they were, so we discussed the type and the type of debt study and how long, I mean, if it was, if the length of the study, I guess, if it would be, once it was occupied moving forward, what our debt would look like, or what it would be like if we weren't at full capacity. And so she didn't realize though that we had had, and I don't think Todd from Ellers also realized that we had had a market study done, so we know that there's a need for it. So she said that would change it too, because she asked me about it, and I said, I mean, with the waiting list that we have and the market study that we have had done, knowing that there's a need for it, I mean, because she's like, how long is it going to take you to fill those 20 beds? And I mean, that's hard to say, like if we're gonna fill them all right away.
Okay, we would justify that addition, but on the flip side, you better make sure it can cash flow
Yeah.
too.
And then how fast can it cash flow? That's the thing. So that's what she's looking at, but I don't really think we need a long period of time leading into it, because and then some of it is we're also going to be using, like we already have some of the costs in place for it, because we don't need a new housing manager, clinical director, some of the housekeeping staff can be utilized, so we're not.
Do you think some of the people on your waiting list, you know, like you say, you'll call them, they're not ready yet for an assisted living? Do you feel like some of those would be more ready for the independent?
Might be if you called it independent living more so. I mean.
So you have, what, 40, 50 people still on your waiting list?
Yeah, and when I was doing, kind of filling in there for, a few weeks, I had a lot of calls in the time that I was just short time that I was adding to the list. And I'm like, this is happening all the time. There's quite a bit. I feel like we lose some of the people because they call, they're ready. Some of them call, they just want to put it on the list. And other people call, they're ready, and we don't have anything. And we don't have anything. They're like, okay, I can manage right now. Maybe it's not urgent. And then they realize, yeah, I can manage right now and I don't need to move, but they maybe would move faster if there was availability. They're putting it off, or they're going somewhere else. And they're like, you know what? I'm happy here right now. So when you call, they're like, oh, they've already gone somewhere else and they're not going to change. So
It is crazy, the
Mhm.
independent living.
Gives you a different
yeah.
attitude.
The wording is, yeah.
I mean, right now we have a mixture, which we have a mixture of it. We have a mixture of independent and those that need assistance. And I mean, the thing is that people don't know who needs what. They don't, because it's all, they might see someone's going in someone's apartment and someone's getting cleaning, but I guess nobody really cares. Because we also have to, even in an assisted living, it would be every day in that 24-hour period. Part of the requirement is that you are touch base with a person, that you've seen them, put eyes on them once in a 24-hour period. So. But anyway, because
Part of what you could do in determining how quickly you could fill it would be to go to your waiting list and make calls and just ask them, if we had space available today, would you be ready
Yeah.
to move? And that would give you an idea of how many units would likely be filled quickly.
Advertising, is that consideration?
Well,
yeah, we advertise now already too. I mean, honestly, we haven't had to advertise because word of mouth and
Yeah.
and the
but
people we have
if
in the community,
even
but
if we pulled the trigger on this now, this year,
2 years.
Yeah.
we're talking 2 years from
Yeah.
now, so
And those
by
people
then,
could
half
be-
the people on the waiting list might already be in assisted living.
maybe somewhere else,
But
or
it
yeah.
would, it would give a little bit of
Yeah.
idea.
Somewhere else.
I honestly don't. My gut feeling tells me that I mean, immediately when she asked it, and I could be totally wrong, but when she asked, I was like, I don't really think that's a concern. I mean, I
Fill
could
in the building, I mean.
Mhm. Yeah, I just,
I would think with that study you did in the
Mhm.
waiting list between the two.
and the number of people and, availability. And I mean, it's not just Monaga people. We get people that have moved out of the community, have been out of the community for years, are calling from Arizona, and they want a place.
Well, and the
know.
reality is that us baby boomers, I mean, we're getting older every passing year and
Mhm.
more ready for that kind of service. And we're a large segment of the population.
Mhm. So, yeah,
I know I read a study where 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day. That's a big number.
That's a huge number.
Wow.
yeah, so I guess we'll wait and hopefully we'll have an answer by the August 13th meeting and on that debt study, and I'll talk to
August 11th.
11th,
I
okay.
think it's 11th.
Yeah.
I
if you
looked at a
could
calendar,
talk
like,
to
and
'em.
I told her, I said, well, if you have it by, oh, it is 11th, yes.
If she could ask the question of the guy from Ellers, if he had contacted Standard and Poor's to
Okay.
get a feel for what impact it could have on their bond rating. That'd be beneficial to know.
Got anything else for Laura?
Oh, I was gonna ask you one more thing on the, so at the last regular meeting, it was closed at the end. Do you say, need to say I had a positive evaluation? Satisfactory?
Did we make a public statement?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Good.
When it came back on?
No, it's, they go into the minutes on the next one.
Which goes in the minutes, because once we turn this off to go into closed session, it takes forever for it to come back to. stream.
I was just looking through the minutes and I didn't see anything, so I was just curious on it and I must have missed them.
We, thought you said something.
You came back and did a statement
I
at the
don't
next
think it's,
meeting?
in the
And your
minutes.
statement that you made was, because I actually kind of thought that might be what the statement was going to be. I didn't know. I mean, your statement
The
was
last one
like
for
supposed,
Was for the open meeting.
The LELS deal was our last one, at the last meeting, that's for the.
Yeah, it was,
negotiating.
the last meeting was a work session. Right.
That was our last one, but when we had the
June's normal meeting
June normal meeting,
That was.
was the evaluation.
Yeah.
yeah, the June 9th meeting.
Oh, so it should be this meeting then. 'Cause this is the
and
next,
it's regular.
yes.
We need to make a public statement, findings for it.
Was your evaluation? Oh, I know I made a statement about that because we talked about how,
Well, then it wasn't put into the minutes. I don't think it,
because we talked about how it was like the best
Oh, yeah.
we had seen.
But that public
Yes.
statement come back on afterwards and say it and you don't have to say that.
That must not have gone when
Just that
the
it's
statement
satisfactory.
was made.
Yeah.
So-
So that's why it didn't get picked up.
I'll make that straight. The evaluation from the closed session statement was you had a extremely positive evaluation. Yeah, extremely positive. And we,
You can work
Could've
for
just said
another,
satisfactory.
you can work for another year.
No, you they keep me on, right?
we appreciate you very much.
That now. will be
Good
in
job,
the minutes.
Laura.
that's
Yes.
in the official minutes.
Yes, audio and.
All right, anything else?
I do not.
All right, then I'd take a motion to approve the monthly report and financials as presented by GWC Administrator Wolf.
So we'll second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign.
So whether or not you'll have the artist rendering of a potential addition will depend on
What you
the
guys decide.
information and what the
think.
next meeting
I mean,
comes
if
up
you are like, nah, I don't think we can do this, we really can't, I don't think we should put something out there and say, hey, this is the next step. If it's like, I think there's a high possibility that we do this, then maybe that's what we do. I mean,
Well, I wonder
you know,
if having a rendering when you do the 60th, you could get some good public input. People's thoughts on it
mhm,
too.
we could build our waiting list too.
Yeah, you know, it might be worthwhile to have, you know, this is what we're projecting in the future and see what kind of feedback you get on. That might help us. Thanks, Laura. We're on to the fire department.
I was hoping, we'd have at least one of the members here tonight. So you'll notice on this resolution, it's blank. Right now, the current city contribution is $2,000, and I would recommend we just keep that. The city is more than adequate. in their comfort.
So we're just gonna plug in $2,000 in the benefit level per
That's
year.
correct,
Okay.
sir. And then this is what they need, now in order to advance their enrollment.
So-
What goes into the paragraph one, there, you got a blank, what goes into that?
So when they were talking about the incentive to jump in to this PERA program for firefighters, the incentive was to add an additional $1,000 per member. Is that true? So that money is, where's that money coming from?
That's from that fund. You don't pay that.
Yeah.
Right, that's coming from PERA or
Yeah.
from the 2% that they surcharge they put on insurance policies?
I don't know. I know it's not a cost to the city.
Okay.
We're not paying that.
I believe that was like it was the state and PRA saying, we'll give you this if you join.
The state of Minnesota is gonna fund that 21,000?
I believe,
I think so, because that gives them more money to put in fund, which collects more interest that pays.
yeah,
for it.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear.
yeah, it was kind of the incentive to get more departments and people to join it.
I will make the motion to allow the fire department to move the retirement fund to the state PERA.
Second,
Read it into the record.
Yeah, I got one more comment. I posed a question to Brett earlier today regarding the PERA based on if they're under that umbrella, is there gonna be any obligation to the city to likewise, like we do with the police officers, to contribute on their behalf based on the amount of money? And you can answer the question.
Yeah, the answer is no. The city, and we're not gonna take any deductions out of their paychecks either. And really, the conclusion that I found in my research is that you're looking at just an administrative change of who's managing their program.
Yeah.
And so they elected and are wishing to go with the state, and that's what we're acquiescing to.
They get the $1,000 per firefighter bonus for going with PRA, plus they save the audit costs.
Right, there's $5,000 or $6,000
So
there.
it's $5,000, $6,000 a year.
Our secretary or treasurer to do, get everything, so.
It takes the liability off him as far as investment manager.
Better read resolution for the record.
Yes, and then just beforehand, could I, who was the motion in the
I
second?
make the motion, Bill seconded.
Thank you. And statewide volunteer firefighter plan, City of Monaga. This is resolution 2025-16, a resolution opting to join the statewide volunteer firefighter plan. The City Council of the City of Monaga, Minnesota does ordain, whereas the city is authorized to join the statewide volunteer firefighter plan administered by the Public Employees Retirement Association, PERA, and whereas the city and the Monaga Fire Department Relief Association have jointly consented to and obtained a cost analysis for joining the statewide volunteer firefighter plan from PERA not more than 120 days ago. And whereas the city highly values the contribution of the Monaga Fire Department members to the safety and well-being of our community and wishes to safeguard their pension investments in a prudent manner. And whereas the existing benefit level for the city fire department is currently at $2,000 per year of service pursuant to the current Relief Association bylaws. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Monaga, Minnesota. The city hereby approves coverage and requests participation in the statewide volunteer firefighter plan administered by PERA under the terms provided in the PERA cost analysis at the $2,000 benefit level per year of service effective 1 January 2026. The city hereby approves coverage by and requests participation in the statewide volunteer firefighter plan administered by PERA under the terms provided in the PERA cost analysis, with the vesting schedule beginning at 40% after 5 years of service, increasing 4% each year until 100% vesting is reached after 20 years of service. And the city clerk, administrator, and mayor are hereby authorized to execute all documents necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution. The motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution was proposed by Council Member Mike Netland and was duly seconded by Council Member Bill Hodge. And upon vote being taken, the following voted in favor. That's
Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. So voted for was Mike, Bill, Jody, Keith, Derwin, none against.
I'll abstain from this just because does,
Yeah, you haven't read that.
it directly impacts me, so.
One abstention.
Whereupon said resolution was declared duly passed and adopted by the city council of the city of Monaga on 14 July 2025. Yes.
We can pull the trigger out. And for the personnel policy discussion.
To be honest with you, Jody, I haven't had time to really do a deep dive on this yet. I know you've given me a couple of weeks, but I've been really busy and there's a lot of things going on.
I even brought it with me on my trip over the other weekend and
Is there any way we can, I know there's some discussion that can be done tonight, but can you give us some more time?
Yeah, why don't we just table it till the next meeting?
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because that gives everybody a little, everybody's been super busy with everything going on.
Appreciate that.
We'll table it till the next one. Keep your copies.
Please. And council, again, any questions that you send me for clarification, I'm just gonna reply all, blind copy everyone, just so you can see, here's the question, and then here's the narrative discussion.
Move to some bills.
And then on the financials, but going forward, would you be sure, please, that the financials we look at are as of month end of the previous month? So in August, we should see through the end of July.
Makes it easier to track. Do you have any questions on the bills, concerns?
And we'll move approval of total bills of $341,058.53, submitted in 6 batches.
I'll say,
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Pay the bills.
We'll do adjourn.
second.
All in favor say aye. Motion was approved. Adjourned at 7:59.
Yeah, I even brought it with me.
And thank you everyone for tuning in, even though there's only 1 or 2 of you, we will see you next time.
Yep, that's all, folks.
Said you